Hi, I'm Polly from UK Hardwoods, and this is a quick guide to our cladding profiles. I'm going to be talking you through our thermally modified wood profiles, which one to use for your project, and the pros and cons of each. So here we have our first cladding profile, which is a lapped profile rather than an interlocking profile. This does mean that you've got really easy access in the future if you need to remove any of the panels, which makes it perfect if you're hiding any utilities and think that you might need to remove some of the boards. Arguably, it's the quickest and easiest to install, so it's perfect if time isn't on your side for your project. However, we do only recommend using this one vertically, because if you use it horizontally, there's no angle to the slope, so you can get water pooling. So now we move on to our second cladding, which again isn't an interlocking profile. It just slips together like this. However, it is designed to have spaces in between, which can add time to your project. It's traditionally known as a rain screen, and it literally is that. It screens the rain rather than actually stopping any weather against it. It's perfect for irregular shapes, so we quite often sell this to sauna makers who are doing perhaps a curved wall. Okay, so now we're going to move on to profiles 3 and 4. This is a horizontal cladding, and when fixed together, it's an interlocking profile. You get an angled slope to the profile down here, which allows any rain that hits the boards to run off. That's why it's ideal to be used horizontally. The difference between number 3 and 4, however, is that number 3 can be fixed with a secret fixing, whereas number 4 only allows for a face fixing through the board. So now we move on to profile number 5. This is a square edge, planed all round board. This is perfect for castle boarding, when you usually use a 6-inch board with an inch gap between each board, and then cover that gap with a 3-inch board. This can also be used for fascias, trims, flooring and decking. So finally we move on to our last two profiles, which are 6 and 7. And again, we've teamed these together because once they're laid, they look identical. These are a vertical cladding, however, because once they are fixed, there is no angle to the slope, so rain can only run down. You can't use these horizontally because you will get pooling. The difference between 6 and 7 is that 6 can be used with a secret fixing that you can't see, and 7 will be used with a face fixing through the board that you can see. So 6 and 7 are the same visually as number 1 once they are fixed. However, because number 1 isn't interlocking, whereas 6 and 7 are interlocking, these two do stop more weather and are more acceptable to be used in external environments.